full access to RFR only on Patreon. Become a member of the RFR Patreon community to get more Rebel Force Radio. Bonus shows and content are available right now only at patreon.com/Rebel Force Radio.
Come on, you know it.
Well, you got clap.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. This is Rebel Force Radio,
your source for the Force.
Star Wars news and commentary.
With Jason Swank and Jimmy Mack.
I've seen Star Wars 500 times. Star Wars aboard! This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it. Now it's time for Rebel Force Radio. We will be honored with you join us.
Welcome to downtown Cleveland, Playhouse Square, Kennedy's Cabaret, and welcome to Skywalker Rises in Ohio!
Wow.
All right.
They rehearsed that.
Yeah.
You guys rehearsed that before we came out. That was cool.
Well, it's great to have you all here, and what an incredible occasion to be marking with so many of our friends and longtime listeners over the years, the end of the Skywalker film saga.
Yes.
And we're going to be breaking it all down. We broke it down on a show that we just released earlier today, so you want to make sure you download and listen to that. That's the first reaction show, First Blush, just a couple hours after seeing the film. And but tonight is more of a celebration. And it's not just about what we think, but it's about what you think, because you came out and you're supporting Rebel Force Radio and showing up here live so we can hear exactly what was going through your mind as this incredible trilogy and the whole saga just unfolded and wrapped up for us. So, of course, I'm not here alone. I'm here with my good friend and yours from Chicago, Jimmy Mack.
Hey, Jason. Hey, Star Wars fans. Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. The day after. Wow. I can't believe we finally have seen the Skywalker saga wrap up. We finally saw the end of the sequel trilogy. We saw some threads get tied up, but I think there were still some loose ones. So I think there's still more of the story to be told. I don't know how much of the end this actually is, but there is a sense of finality, and I felt that in a very profound way as we saw the movie for the first time. You know, a lot of feedback we got about our show from last night. And by the way, we warned you, it was fresh and raw. There's a lot of raw going on there. So much raw. Oh my God, was that raw. Couldn't keep track of all the MacGuffins. You got a wayfinder, you got daggers, come on. But
Yeah, it's
that's
very Harry Potter there.
But that's
for me
what's
in
going to make
places.
it fun, to go back and see it again, because connecting those dots will come much easier. But what
Yeah.
a lot of people gave us some feedback about, of course, we're just a bunch of clunky dudes, but we really didn't talk about the moment at the end.
The moment.
The moment. And I'm talking about the big kiss between Rey and Kylo.
We got any Reylo fans here?
Reylo.
Come on, don't be shy. Admit it. Yeah, I'm a hopeless romantic as well. I love the whole Romeo and Juliet thing. It was, and they were a dyad.
A dyad. Well, there were
Right?
two of them, so
A force dyad.
Right. If there were three of them, it would be a triad, and so on.
Yeah,
So
it goes
forth.
on from there.
It does, but the two of them together.
So this is how you impress, you know, your wife, your partner. You just say, honey, we're a dyad.
Yeah, a force
In the
dyad.
force.
A
Yeah.
force dyad. That will probably be showing up in a lot of proposals and maybe even marriage vows.
Will you be my dyad?
Oh, I could just imagine. Back in the day, Father Hal was up there on the altar, and I go up there with the lovely Wendy Snyder to take her hand in wedded bliss. And I said, hey, Father Hal, throw in this little bit about forced dyad. He's, Father Hal, south side of Chicago, he slapped me upside of the head and say, there's your forced dyad. You want another one? No, you got two of them. That's a dyad. So that's what would have. That's what would happen. But I think it's going to become a thing in future weddings. I've been to weddings. I've been to Chris Mott's wedding where we all held aloft lightsabers.
Where is Chris Mott? He's supposed to be here.
Is Chris here? Where's Christian? Christian, where are you? Oh, they put you all the way back there.
You had a seat right up
We
here.
had you up in the front row. Oh, he needs his space. He doesn't want to get too close to us.
All right.
He doesn't want to get too.
Anybody want Chris's front row seat?
You can sit right between.
Is there? We have. I know we have. Wait a minute. Where's Rich Brendel?
Get him up here.
Rich Brendel, is he here? Rich, would you please move up to the front seat? Eric, Mock doesn't want it.
Rich made his own Rise of Skywalker homebrew up in Wisconsin to celebrate episode 9. What was the name of that homebrew again, Rich?
The Rye of Skywalker.
The Rye of Skywalker. Clever. So, Rich Brendel, you get to sit between a couple members of the RFR Chicago crew. We got Brian Klein right there. We got Tyler Page right there. These are my buddies. We hang out at the Galloping Ghost Arcade, and we welcome all visitors, Star Wars fans to Chicago. Whenever they come into town, Rebel Force Radio listeners reach out to us, and we roll out the welcome wagon. We hang out at the Galloping Ghost Arcade on Ogden Avenue, home of the world's largest arcade, old school, vintage, upright cabinets. Over 700 of them are there, including a ton of cool Star Wars games. And then we go across the street to Brixie's, and that's when real fun is. Brixie's is a bar. It's not like whatever you might have thought it was. It's just a neighborhood bar. But we have closed down the place many times. Are you guys going to leave?
Well, speaking of bar, we've got a full bar over here, so please be kind to your bartender, April, and we want to keep this informal, so at any point, no one's going to point at you or be offended. Get up, go get a drink, or as we said, bring us a drink. Doesn't matter.
Yep. And we do have a microphone over here on the side of the stage where you guys will be able to contribute to the show pretty much whenever you want. So we will be having open mics a little bit later. We have some business to get through here before we let you know, but we'll let you know when to line up. So think about what you want to talk about. I think the Rise of Skywalker is first and foremost on everyone's mind, but there is that sweet baby Yoda. And
Here's a
baby
young
Yoda
cowboy, lives on the range.
in the clutches of evil now. And I have had sleepless nights.
Yeah.
The last couple of them. So.
But something I wanted to sort of talk about, how many of you were successful in avoiding these spoiler-free reviews and all of that? I mean, did you just go on a social media blackout? Yeah, because here's the problem is, and I include our good friends, like Paul Bateman, right? Mm-hmm. Good for everybody loves Paul Bateman, and I saw he sent an email because he saw it because London time, he saw it before we were able to see it. I didn't even want to read his email because I could tell that if Paul liked it or Paul didn't like it, I could tell how it was gonna be. So you can sort of tell by who the critic is, whether it be a friend of yours or a published critic, what it was going to, how it might color your perception of the movie. So we went to great lengths to not, even our friends, we didn't want to know anything. Kyle Newman, no. Blocked. I don't want to know what Kyle Newman thought about it.
Muted.
Yeah, muted. All right, that's a little soft.
Yeah,
but
blocked is kind of rough. We're old friends. So.
But anyway, so yeah, it was a bit of a struggle. Are you glad that you did though? Yeah, because this was so. It was the culmination of so much, and going into this film, there was just a ton of baggage. Fandom has been sort of dragged through a really, really rough period. And I think, and I don't know if you all agree, but I think that we've got a Star Wars movie that we can finally just talk about on the merits of being a Star Wars movie and none of this other BS. So whether you like it or you don't, let's just talk about it as a Star Wars movie instead of it being, something that, some litmus test for your socio-political viewpoint, your world view. I've had enough of it. I really have. So we're gonna break it all down tonight. Some things we want to point out. Did everybody get a patch?
Yeah.
So everybody that came in should have gotten the Skywalker Rises in Ohio official patch, designed by longtime Rebel Force Radio friend Kevin Lyle of Norse Legion. And Kevin's got some of the best merch and the best designs anywhere. So make sure you check him out on Facebook. You should have also received a raffle ticket. Did everybody get a raffle ticket? Yes. All right, because we've got some really cool prizes that we're going to be raffling off a little bit later, including these amazing Bose headphones. Jim, hold these up, if you would. Make sure you get them on your camera. Look at that. So, big thanks to our... Yeah, look at that. Those are cool. Someone said I would never take them out of the box. I really struggled with that. But I've been using them. They are amazing. They sound incredible. They really are awesome. So we're gonna be raffling off a pair of those. So make sure you hold on to that raffle ticket. We also have a few other prizes as well. But there. No more mint in box. Jimmy Max got
them
them
still
out.
Mints. They're worth more now.
Greasy fingers all over.
But no, we're really excited to be spreading the word about Bose and these amazing Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker Quiet Comfort 35 wireless headphones. 360-degree audio augmented experience. It's incredible. It's you get access to this great Star Wars experience via the Star Wars app. You'll see a little Bose thing on there, and if you have these headphones, that's the only way then you can get into the app. And it takes you on this incredible audio journey of the lightsaber. So if you want to learn more about this, visit bose.com/rebelforce. That's bose.com/rebelforce. But the lucky audience member tonight is going to walk home with these bad boys. And this is a limited edition. And I think only 1,000 of them were made.
Yeah.
So this is
very
not
rare.
Only an incredible audio experience, but what a great collectible as well. And outside of Star Wars, I've been listening to some music with this, some live concerts and studio recordings, and it is one of the best musical experiences I've had in my life. So these are fantastic headphones, Bose and Star Wars. What a perfect match. So we'll be looking forward to be giving these away later in the show. We have a few other things.
Yes.
Rancho Obi-Wan, of course, we love Rancho Obi-Wan, and courtesy of Rancho Obi-Wan, I have one extra large Rancho Obi-Wan. It's a Blue Harvest inspired shirt, so it's based off of the look of the t-shirts that crew members for Revenge of the Jedi were wearing out in the Yuma, Arizona desert when they were shooting sail barge sequences, and that was their cover. They weren't Star Wars, it was Blue Harvest horror beyond imagination. This is Rancho Obi-Wan, inspiration beyond imagination. So see, they flip that, tables turned, ranchoobi1.org, become a member. And then RFR listener Wayne Barnes has given us these great Mandalorian art prints that he created.
Oh. Yeah. These are amazing. So they're like the vintage Marvel comics covers, but with as if they had Mandalorian back then.
Right,
So
and
very
they're
cool.
truly inspired. I love them on so many different levels, much like the Mandalorian itself. Look at this one.
By the way, real quick, just a programming note while Jimmy shows that all off. Chris Amarim? Is Chris Amarim here? Where did he go? He's at the bar.
Yeah,
Chris, I'm trying to
where
give
else
you
would he be?
my. Is he there? Trying to give him my signal. We had a special signal worked out. I don't know where he went either. Maybe he's taking care of things. I don't know.
So we have the Bose, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, Quiet Comfort 35 wireless headphones, and these great art prints, and Rancho Obi-Wan t-shirts. So we'll be giving all that away. So much great stuff happening. Let me tell you a little bit about Bose. The Bose limited edition Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker Quiet Comfort 35 wireless headphones are AR enabled with motion sensors embedded within them that detect your head and body movements to provide an augmented audio experience when used with the official Star Wars app. Bose and Star Wars have teamed up to bring you an exclusive 3D, 360-degree audio adventure. So visit bose.com/rebelforce to learn more. Thank you so much, Bose. We love you so much.
What that really means, though, is that when you have the Star Wars, official Star Wars app, and you have those particularly AR-enabled headphones, is that they're playing audio of scenes that you're very familiar with. So, for example, the Simple Tricks and Nonsense scene on the Falcon in Episode 4, when Luke is training. And what's cool about it is you get this little map on your phone, and you hear the dialogue that you're familiar with, and as you walk towards the characters, you're actually hearing them get louder and louder and louder. And if you, like Jim, you mentioned the other day, I sat in between Chewie and 3PO on the degenerate table, and you hear Chewie out of the left and 3PO out of the right. It's really amazing. So yeah, huge thanks to Bose. It's a great experience. And they do have you don't have to get the Star Wars branded ones, so we know that there's only 1,000 of those being made. But if you have that AR-enabled technology in one of the other Bose products, you can enjoy that experience. It's pretty awesome, very awesome. So lots of prizes, so you have to be here to win. This isn't one of those things where we're gonna mail it to you. You gotta stay here in order to be eligible to win and stay to the bitter end, but we know you're gonna want to. Also, I should mention, I'm wearing, and I don't know if Billy Mack is wearing, but we're wearing these hoodies, so check these out. So these were made for us.
Look at that. It's stay there for a second. It's the Star Wars Skywalker Rises in Ohio official logo, symbol.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, that's
yes,
a logo.
The same
That's a
thing.
logo.
That's a logo. It's official, and that is a brilliant little piece of.
No copyright infringements intended.
So Swank's looking good.
That's why we're glad we know somebody that works at a print shop.
So that's.
But Cleveland Chris, yeah, he was very kind to do that for us. So at any rate, you know, I'm kind of feeling like maybe we should move to another place in the timeline. You want to jump ahead a little bit?
Are we going to jump ahead in
Or do you want to just
Rebel Force Radio chronology? No, I'd kind of like to stick to.
You want to? Okay, we're gonna do. We'll keep the rundown. Okay, all right. I'm jumping the gun a little bit. You have to excuse me. We have a very special guest here tonight, and this is a huge surprise to everybody. We didn't pre-announce this, but we're gonna tease it right now. So that's coming up in just a few moments. And if you're watching live, and we've got a number of you right now that are watching this via YouTube and Facebook, stay tuned. You are not going to want to miss this. But yeah, we've got a number of people that are here with us tonight, including my brother in the Force, your brother in the flesh, the one, the only, Billy Mack. We'd like to bring Billy Mack up here on the stage with us. Billy Mack.
B-Mac. There he is. Billy Mack returns to Cleveland, Ohio. Hey, Bill. Bill just flew in today.
And boy, are his arms tired.
What did you have?
I have to every time.
Couldn't you have said something like solar panels retired or something that ties in with the whole Star Wars?
I should Star Warsify that cliche.
But Billy's here. He saw The Rise of Skywalker in the suburbs of Chicago last night.
Did you guys see it?
Yeah, we saw it. We did see it. So
I actually went to Knives Out.
Stop it. He did not. He did not. I could see cats. I could see you going to cats. But that would be.
It was tempting. It was very tempting.
So we want your first review. We haven't really spoken much about it. You came into town and briefly stopped at the hotel, and we talked for a minute. And I think you were adverse to reveal your feelings to me because you heard our review show from last night where I think we gave episode 9 a pretty damn positive review.
Well, I only heard half your show, so I was kind of nervous because I didn't know.
There was no plot
full-
twist. We liked it all
I
the
didn't
way
know
to
what
the
the
end.
the full perspective ended up being, but yeah, I think I was a little nervous, a little depressed.
Oh.
I'll be honest about that, because as I told you when I had to sit down, I think I asked you to.
You
sit
kind of
down.
laid down on
He
the
said,
couch.
Yeah, said,
Jim,
yeah, I
you
think
better
we should
have
have
a
a
seat.
stood over you as you.
He said,
Bared
sit
it
down. And then I did. He said, no, lay down like Leia did before she disappeared. And I was just like, wait, this is weird. It's just you and me in this room.
I had ulterior motives. But I was, shall we say, tepid.
Tepid
About the movie.
response.
I was lukewarm. That's probably the better term. to
Yes, he
use,
did say
right?
that, and well, at least it's lukewarm, so that does tie in a little bit,
Right.
much more than Swank's arms tired joke. He didn't even try. But lukewarm.
All right.
Okay.
I want to get to the bottom of this because, as I said earlier, what I am excited about with this film is to be able to really talk about it on the merits of how it fits into the Star Wars mythology. It doesn't seem to be being dragged down by some of this other stuff. So the thing that I liked about this is that, and some have pointed to it as a criticism, is that it seemed like J.J. Abrams had a list of questions and unresolved plot threads that needed to be tied up. He needed to close the loop on a lot of stuff. And within the first few minutes of the film, we get a lot of that stuff already taken care of. So that was very fulfilling to me. And I know that you, just based on the fact that we've talked a lot about these movies, those unresolved questions, even the ones that were resolved in Last Jedi that seem to be expanded upon, I would think that that's something that you would be really excited about. But you're kind of lukewarm on, like Jimmy says, a little lukewarm on this. It's a surprise to me.
Well, I'm not sure where to begin. I think overall, I have to go with some general feelings because, when you see these movies, all of them, and I was talking to Chris about this earlier. There's so much hype around them. There's so much excitement. You really have to watch it again. And I will say that I could definitely. There's room for me to be persuaded. Okay, I didn't hate the movie. My initial reaction was kind of like, that's the end. I didn't feel emotionally invested, and the reason, part of it, was that pacing. It was. I wouldn't say I didn't want answers to a lot of these questions. There's some questions I didn't want to have to begin with, but it was so rapid fire that it tended to undercut the drama for me. I really loved Force Awakens. I cared about that movie a lot. It brought me back to the original trilogy, really, in a way that the prequel trilogy did not. There was a scene in that movie where Rey finds Luke's lightsaber and talks to Maz Kanata, and it's tied in with her story about her parents, and Maz tells her that they're not coming back, but there's hope in the universe still, and it's Luke, and I just thought that was brilliantly done. That represented to me a very nice emotional note that I didn't see anywhere. I was hoping to see more of that come back in this last one because I think it really needed it, and I just felt I was getting hammered with exposition the whole time. And we can get into the plot. There are things that look, I loved. Guys, don't get me wrong. This makes me feel terrible.
Well, maybe you just need to see the movie.
Did I use the? I probably.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I think it was so much coming at you at once.
I feel like Debbie Downer. that SNL skit. It's like.
Billy didn't like.
I love seeing the Emperor back. Don't get me wrong. Ian McDermott looked amazing. I mean, there were parts in that movie where I was like, "Oh my God!" You know,
Yeah, old
it is-
milky eyes.
Yeah. Well, and they were glowing at one. He had kind of the pinkish yellow.
Well, once he
you
took
know.
the life force from them, he started having like normal fingers again and all of that. Then the eyes came back.
Hey,
But I
but you
just-
did say you were frustrated because they didn't really reveal how.
Right. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, it's great. He's back, but why is he back? I don't even.
Okay.
I don't understand why.
I see him back. Debbie Downer.
Oh, I can't do this. I know. I'm sitting there watching the movie, going like, I don't like this part. You know, I don't know what to say about it. I felt like things were, you know, the reveal of Rey's lineage to Palpatine. Like, how did that happen? Where does that come from?
Well, it does
Palpatine
make
has
you
kids?
wonder, like when you watch.
I mean, it's
yeah.
hard to be emotionally invested in something that's just kind of thrown.
It
at
is.
you
It
out
is
of
hard to
nowhere.
imagine that guy having kids, right? Like,
What is romance like for Palpatine?
I don't know.
Maybe slip into something more comfortable. You know, oh, and that reminds me too, the whole Snoke thing. You know, and I'm joking around a little bit, but like, what? Okay, so Palpatine is back. You know, and like, so he like just willed himself into existence again.
No.
And then
I think you're wrong about that, though.
We
I
got to
think-
talk about the pickle barrel filled with Snoke heads. I mean, like it's a country store. You know, I mean, he's got. And why would he? So he makes this guy, and he's got tons of them in a barrel ready to go, like Jeffrey Dahmer or something. And, I mean, and what he put, you know, I want him in gold lame. I mean, what is that? I'm a huge Sha-Na-Na fan. I want to put these guys on the road. Wait, now I'm starting to get into kind of like that. We're gonna put them on the road.
Well, we talked about that on our show that we dropped earlier today. Is that like seriously, like if he's going to create these, you know, this guy that's going to sort of move in and sort of be his stand-in for a few decades.
Yeah.
Like, why is he so messed up looking? Like, why don't you get like some, I don't
They should
know.
look like Brad Pitt, right?
Right.
Dark side cloning
I
is.
mean, that was a whole.
Yeah, but wait a minute though. Here's a question. Okay, you say cloning. Was that cloning?
I think it was.
You think that was cloning
Yeah,
technology?
yeah, some sort. Yeah, the pickle barrel. I mean, come on. Where else?
I
would
didn't
you
see
see
any
your
pickle
clone
barrels in the prequels.
Well, they were just high-tech pickle barrels that they had on Camino, but they still were pickle barrels.
Well, they had the pods or whatever.
But it is never really explained, and why make them so ugly? You just don't expect these dark side guys to have a real, you know, subtle artistic touch. It's just they just slap it together.
It's like
and
a
throw it out there.
child's.
He was an
drawing.
Avatar. Snoke was an Avatar.
Yes,
for
yeah, I agree with that.
Palpatine.
Yeah, right.
And Palpatine probably felt like Snoke was an improvement on what he saw in the mirror. So
Well, here's
not great, but it's better than this.
here's what I'm feeling on this. Okay, I mean that could be the case, and I can go with it, but I don't know. Maybe there's something about it. Maybe that maybe I'm just a tinge resentful about, because I just feel like the mystery that was created in the first movie was this scarred guy had some kind of history, and so I felt a little bit let down by that. And then there's this larger theme about manipulating life that was brought up in the prequels and everything, and creating life. So I guess he solved that somehow. He got killed and then he figured it out. I don't.
But
know
wait,
how that-
you keep saying that. I don't know that the jury's still out on whether he was killed. I think
well,
that he was.
that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. I mean, he goes down so I guess he was hanging on the wreckage of the Death Star, and
Maybe, you know, somebody came with the mop and the broom, and
Well,
just
that
like Darth Maul.
Cyclone, that
Yeah.
blue cyclone was his evil essence flying out there into space. And so it was out there, and his acolytes had to go retrieve the corpse so he would have a place then to land.
but you're filling in.
Yeah, I am.
This-
Yeah, you're damn right I am.
I wish
I'm
they
a
just
Star
gave
Wars
us
fan.
a-
What do you think I did, with the original trilogy before the prequels? I filled it in.
Yeah.
Now I'm doing it
Well,
again.
I
Time
just
marches
wish they
on.
gave us a little something that, I mean, he really just kind of appears out of nowhere. I mean, I don't know.
I'm back. Well, it's sequel, it's a sequel.
Howdy, folks.
So they had to bring it back. Was it really Palpatine?
Here's one thing,
I mean, again, it was great to see him.
They talked a bit at the beginning with the opening crawl about the mysterious broadcast that comes out. I would like to hear what that broadcast is.
Right. It was Rebel Force Radio.
How does he
just like, I downloaded this podcast, it's going to freak out the galaxy.
There's nothing wrong with your television, Doctor.
Or he's like Max Headroom.
Yeah.
He's like Max Headroom. It's like
Pirate radio, pirate TV.
Sit. He's got the shades on. It's like, yeah, Max Radio, baby.
Nice.
Sit. Success. Yeah. Oh, wait. I forgot this part. Yeah.
There it is.
Dark side.
Whoa, what was that?
Yeah, the broadcast was on Fortnite when they did that crossover.
The broadcast was on Fortnite when they did that crossover. So
Well,
that's
what was
where they
on
put
it?
Palpatine's reveal.
That's a little niche. Don't you think?
I didn't know that.
Did you all know this? So
They all knew it. We didn't know.
How did we not know?
Because they play Fortnite.
Oh.
They all play Fortnite. Look at them
my
with the
kids are
zombie
playing
eyes.
Roblox.
Fortnite. They don't even know how they ended up here.
All right, so who heard the transmission? You heard the transmission. Hey, why don't you step up to the mic? I gotta hear more about
You gotta
it.
hear about this transmission.
Yeah.
Bring it.
I listened to it about 2 seconds ago.
Okay, he just listened to it
Okay.
2 seconds ago. Instead of listening
Right in
to
front
us,
of the.
he's
Yeah, grab on the
over there
microphone.
listening to that.
Yeah, microphone. There you go.
There you go. He's on mic. What's your name?
JR.
JR, where are you from?
JR.
Cleveland.
Cleveland.
All right.
Old Brooklyn, about 10 minutes away.
Okay.
Got it.
So tell us about this broadcast. Was it actually?
So, I just listened to it at Parnell's next door.
Wow. Great place, Parnell's Irish pub. Yeah.
It really kind of reminded me of, for lack of a better word, a Nazi.
Yeah, like Nazi propaganda kind of
Yes,
thing,
It
right?
was like, victory is coming, the Sith are rising. I
Oh.
only listened to it once.
Was it Palpatine?
It was literally about 10 minutes before I forgot.
Okay. Was it Palpatine though? It was actually, and Ian McDiarmid. You think?
Yep.
Oh wow. All right. I guess. So the only way you hear this is if you play Fortnite.
Well, I read an article.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. But were you able to listen to it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's out there. All right. Well, we'll play it. What's that? Is not anymore? Did I hear someone
We'll
say
find
that?
it.
We will. Yeah.
We have sources.
Nothing disappears from the internet. Trust us.
That's right.
We know.
So, Billy Downer. I think you just need to see the movie a few more times. I think they threw a lot of information at us at once.
Mm-hmm.
If you listen to us try to break down everything that happened in the movie in our podcast last night, you're going to hear a lot of mass confusion, finger pointing, name calling, and occasional kicks below the belt.
Yeah,
But-
well, the second viewing is always a little bit
Yes,
different.
I think it'll open
I'm
up.
ready to be persuaded. I mean, I don't think I liked 2001 that much the first time I saw it.
2001.
How
old are you?
I did not like Blade Runner the first time I saw it. The first 3 times I saw it. I said,
Yeah.
why am I watching
Well,
this the first
look,
time?
here's the thing, though. In fairness, I have to say, we were last night. We were very deliberate in the way that we delivered our kind of review of this because your opinions on these things can change. God knows my opinion on Episode 8 changed for better or worse. I know, and I'm not trying to take away anyone's fandom or what you like, what you don't like. But there was definitely an evolution of my opinion about that film. We were quite effusive, I believe, in our praise after that. And you kind of have the Star Wars high, the Star Wars hangover, and then it sort of settles in. And you start to put it into context with the rest of the saga. And there are things that work, things that don't work. And then, you had all of the ancillary, baloney that was happening within fandom on top of that. So that complicates it a bit. But still, I feel that I'm at a place now where I'm okay with, I don't want to say ignoring, forgetting.
You've moved on.
I've moved on. Exactly.
You've
That's the way to put it.
moved
I've
on.
moved on from Episode 8. and I was ready to go into episode 9, but I don't want to make the same mistake. I want to be able to digest this because it, to your point, Bill, it is so packed. It is so fast. There's so much being thrown at you. This is something you're going to have to see, I think, multiple times in order to really, I think, digest it appropriately.
Yes.
But
that's what makes Star Wars films great, is it has that rewatchability. And I think this film is going to provide us with some great rewatchability.
I would say that the thing that this does, though, is I'm in awe of what J.J. Abrams did with this film, in the sense that this had to be very tricky for him, right? I mean, because he can't just go in there and blow everything up. Though he did a pretty good job in terms of but this, I guess the way that I kind of look at it is, I almost feel like Force Awakens and The Last Jedi are kind of like one big long movie, really, because you don't have that opportunity to let the characters grow and develop in your mind. And as silly as that sounds, yes, you had the benefit of comic books and some things back, between the release of Star Wars and Empire, but you kind of filled in your own gaps. And when you meet the characters after time has progressed off screen, there's a little bit of forgiveness. Like you sort of take for granted that they're closer friends, that their relationships are tighter. And going from Force Awakens to Last Jedi, you didn't have that opportunity. So it was so literal in the timeline that the characters couldn't grow, that they couldn't progress, they really couldn't change all that much. So what I really enjoyed about this one is immediately when I'm seeing 3PO and Poe and Finn together on an adventure, I buy it right off the bat. I'm like, these are the guys that we last left, for me, in The Force Awakens. And it was like, I was so happy to see, in my opinion, the real Poe back, the real Finn back, because these were the guys that were sort of promised and introduced to us in the first movie.
Oh, I found them extremely likable in episode 9. It really felt like we got the big three from the sequel trilogy we've been looking for. Poe clearly filled the role of Han Solo, and Rey clearly filled the role of Luke Skywalker, and Finn was Finn. Finn really went through his own kind of journey where he started to actually reveal that he may have some legitimate Force abilities himself. So that opens up a whole different can of worms.
That was a really interesting choice. And when I was going back and reviewing some of the comments that we made on the previous show, I was talking about how it was clear to me last night, that there was some sort of love triangle that was being insinuated between Poe and Finn and Rey. There was this jealousy, okay, right? And I was like, and I even said on the show, I'm like, there's no other way you can interpret this.
Yeah.
But I think I was wrong, because I feel now, after thinking about it overnight, what Finn wanted to say to Rey, in my mind, was not "I love you." It was that he has these feelings. He feels he has these powers that are emerging through him. That's what I think he really wanted to say to her. But the way they wrote the dialogue, it was pretty clever, because they didn't want to tip their hand and come right out and say that he was experiencing these moments of having these powers, these abilities. So they kind of played it off like it might have been a romance. So you find out that Poe is really kind of jealous of Finn for really no reason. I don't think he was looking for anything from Rey. Now, Jaina's another story.
Yeah.
He liked Jaina quite a bit.
Absolutely. And Jaina could be definitely Calrissian blood, I think.
I don't think, no. All right, I don't think so.
There's someone here who might be able to answer that question for us. And there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Fresh from the set of Rise of Skywalker, it's Puppet Lando. Yes, there he is. Puppet Lando is here at the Playhouse Square, Kennedy's Cabaret.
How you doing, everybody? Are you still hanging around with these losers?
Well, it's so good to see you here, Puppet Lando. We loved you in The Rise of Skywalker.
Hey, how you doing, Billy Mack?
But
I just want to tell you, the people with curly hair are very debonair.
Why, thank you, Lando. You know, this is an exclusive. I usually don't interact with Lando, so
Just for you
gotten
people
to know
right
each
here.
other a little bit better over the years, so
So, Puppet Lando, what was it like to return to the role that you made famous 40 years ago?
Well, I'll tell you, it was wonderful. It was wonderful to be back, and I really enjoyed doing it. Sitting in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon especially. Although this time around, I didn't have such technical dialogue, like, I think, I always had such a hard time wrapping my mind around, we'll do a lot better than we will against that Death Star. And we just might take a few of them with us.
That was tough for you, right? That dialogue.
Yeah, you know, George would have me read that over and over again. I had no idea what it meant. We should be able to get a reading on that shield up or down. I have no idea. Why would we have a reading when it's down? Well, they got things moving. This time around, I just kind of had to sit there and
And you were great at it. There it is.
That was wonderful. It was wonderful, and I did see my friend Wedge for about 2 seconds.
That was huge. Did everyone catch Wedge? That was a big moment.
Big moment for us, because we're the ones who broke that story in a tweet, and everyone from Esquire magazine to Entertainment Weekly and international press all picked it up. So I suddenly felt like we were under a lot of pressure. Wedge better show up in his movie.
Yeah, as soon as
Oh my
Wedge
God.
was on screen, Jimmy Mack he hits me like this, elbows me, and then goes.
Oh, thank God.
You nailed it, Jimmy Mack.
Thanks, Puppet
He
Lando.
was there.
Now he was the gunner in the Millennium Falcon, right?
Yeah, he was my gunner.
Yeah.
You want more information? That's all I got here.
Now, didn't you actually train for the role, your big return in this movie with, your trainer was named Gunner.
Oh, Gunner,
You
yeah.
used to work out with him, so.
Everybody has to have a gunner.
They do, but for the movie, you actually needed a gunner, and Gunner wasn't your man, but Wedge was.
Oh, you confused me.
Well, I'll tell you what, Puppet Lando, when I think of the holiday season, I often think of your feltiness. And I know that you're not here just to promote your return to Star Wars and The Rise of Skywalker, but you're also here to bring us a message of Christmas joy. Yes.
Yeah.
And love.
And love, of course. You know that you're packing a lot of love there. So I'm going to step aside here for a second, and we're going to give Puppet Lando center stage, and he is going to give us a message of Christmas joy and love. Take it away, Puppet Lando.
Lots of love. This might take you back a little bit. I just want to read a little something for you that I think is very important in this time of disagreement, woe. We have a very special time upon us. And I have a very important question for all of you. What can you get a Wookiee for Christmas when he already owns a home? I mean, what can you get in a hurry for a furry kind of friend like that to take home? No, he'll never wear galoshes or a hat upon his furry dome. So, what can you get a Wookiee for Christmas when he already owns a comb? It's really a problem.
Yeah.
Let's give him love and understanding, goodwill to men, and puppets too. Wrap it all up in a bright colored ribbon, and and we give it to him all over again. And that is what you get a working for Christmas when he already owns a dome.
Ah, ladies and gentlemen, Puppet Lando with some holiday wishes. He's really something else. You are incredible. And what a great friend to Rebel Force Radio.
And I love you too, Jason. You've been a wonderful, wonderful friend.
Can I have a hug? I broke him. I broke him.
There, Jason.
Puppet Lando, ladies and gentlemen, sharing
Oh, man.
the love of the season
That's amazing.
from Cloud City to Cleveland. That was fabulous.
You got a real Billy D hug once.
I did. I hugged Billy D. Williams once, right on Michigan Avenue in downtown Chicago. It was the thrill of my life.
Yeah.
He had visited the CBS radio studios, where I learned about Minox chewing on power cables, and I was able to.
Or carrying off blurgs.
Yeah, right.
Who knew?
Those were old interns. But yeah, these were back in the CBS radio days, and I had a production studio there at Prudential Plaza, right off of Michigan Avenue, and we had Billy D. Williams visit us in 2008. And so I was able to smooth talk his handlers to get some one-on-one time in the production studio with Billy D. So we recorded a little chunk for the podcast, and it was a lot of fun. And afterwards, he started asking me a lot of questions about Millennium Park, which is right next to the Prudential Plaza, right across the street, right across Randolph. And it's known for sculptures and artwork, and it's a really modern art kind of scene going on out there. And Billy D, being a man of art, wanted to go check it all out. And he asked me to walk him to Millennium Park. So I am cruising out of the office building I work in, seeing people I know, trying to be cool, but going, did you see it? And he's with me. And I was very excited, but you have to be cool around Billy D. Williams.
Because when you're not, we know what happens.
We know what happens. At Star Wars Celebration Chicago, we learned the hard way. When he was, cool it! But that's a different story. He was more relaxed on this day.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing the celebrity lap dance, as Carrie Fisher used to call those kind of photo ops and autograph sessions. But Billy D was he was a little more incognito. He didn't have a bunch of people recognizing him. He was just cruising around. And when we got to Millennium Park, I said to him, well, here we are, And I didn't want to then. Well, I did want to hang out with him in the park afterwards and everything, but I was, trying to be professional and letting him go on his way. And he goes, well, thank you, man. And he came in and gave me a hug. Oh. And it was warm that day, but I just remember the cool embrace. It was so refreshing. It was like an Arctic chill just suddenly went down my spine.
Like those peppermint patty commercials. You bite into it and all of a sudden.
Yeah. But it was like one of those moments that just get frozen in time, and you just always can sort of in your head go back to that moment. A lot of people think about their first child being born or the day they got married. I think about the day Billy D. Williams hugged me on Michigan Avenue. Thank you very much.
All right.
Hope you guys are keeping our bartender here tonight busy.
Yeah, don't forget
be
April's
shy. You
over
guys
there.
Don't think you're walking in front of anything.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
You can go over there and do whatever you want and bring over a couple for me and Swank.
Yeah, it hasn't happened yet. I
That
noticed
That hasn't happened.
Yeah.
We have a shy.
The Solo in Ohio crowd was a lot more friendly.
Oh, yeah, right.
How many of you were here for Solo in Ohio?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, good number. But some of you that were not. A lot more were not. That's great.
That is great.
Thank you for coming out here.
Yeah, we love this room. We love this building.
I heard that there was somebody all the way from Toronto, and the Nortons don't count because, they'll go anywhere where we are. But I'm kidding. I'm just joking. But who is here from Toronto? That we don't. Right there. There's Toronto. So how many hours is that? What, 6? 8? 7 hours? Anybody got him beat? Anyone more than 7 hours to get here?
Anyone? Well, Chris Ameren. No. You're from Minnesota. Yeah, you're darn
5.
cool.
No, 5. That's not more than 7.
Yeah.
6 hours, Chicago.
Well, almost 6 hours.
Yeah. All right. Well, you get the prize. I don't know what the prize is, but what's your name, Toronto?
Greg.
Greg, step up to the microphone, would you?
Hello.
Oh, yeah. That camera needs that was set for my height.
Yeah.
Hello there.
It's Greg.
Yeah. They stretch us in Canada, so.
I see that. Yeah. So, what made you decide to come down here?
Well, I love your both shows in Chicago. I was at the celebration.
Uh-huh.
I think both of your matches, so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Remember me, but I remember you.
Oh, we remember you, of course. Remember you. Remember everybody out here. I know all your names. No, it's great. Thank you very much for coming. We really appreciate it.
Yes, thanks for having me.
All the way from Toronto.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That shows a lot of dedication. So here's something. This is a thrill, all right? Had a thought that maybe this was going to happen, but then I thought it wasn't going to happen, and then I found out today it was going to happen. We have a very special guest here tonight. Someone that has been a great friend of our podcast for a long, long time. And it's just a great moment to be able to bring him back on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, my Anakin Skywalker and yours, Matt Lanter here joining us tonight. No.
Matt, you
All
sit
right.
in the middle.
Oh, Matt's gonna. Oh, now you just threw me off. You threw me off because.
We're not worthy!
You're not Jimmy Mack. The lower third is going to say Jimmy Mack on the screen. So they're like, God, Jimmy Mack is good looking.
Okay, is that going to confuse people? Should we?
I think you
back?
should switch.
We should switch.
Because if
back.
Wendy is watching live, she's going to be like, I can't wait for him to get home.
No. All right, he is our Anakin, but
Yes.
I know him better. It's Davin. He's my favorite. Davin.
You know what?
Right? Don't you know Davin from the Mandalorian right here? New Republic officer Davin, who went from he had 2 situations to deal with in that episode: confused and dead. That's what happened to him.
I was scared.
It looks great though.
When I got the script, I wasn't sure if it was Davin or like Devon.
Oh.
I wasn't sure what to go with. I went with Davin.
Davin, I like that, and I remember watching it. I was watching it with the kids, and I all of a sudden I just paused it. I go, I think that's Matt Lanter, and my daughter, she goes, is that the guy you know? I said, I kind of know him.
Yeah, we know
She's like,
each other.
well, you should let him know that you're watching this right now. I'm like, I'm sure everybody on the planet that he knows that's watching it that night. So you probably got a lot of emails and texts. I'm sure.
Like 6-7 years of the Clone Wars, and I'm getting tons of texts about Mandalorian. It's huge right now.
Yeah.
People loving it.
It's incredible. And so how did were you excited when you got the opportunity to do that? I'm sure that by way of Dave Filoni, right?
Yeah, I was Dave.
You know him.
I was doing the carpet the other day. By the way, I've got Toronto beat. I came from the carpet in LA. Rise of Skywalker. So it's kind
Well, here, let's put Matt on camera.
Yeah, all right.
I guess a camera died or something.
Yeah, Jimmy's cell phone died.
So now it says Jimmy Mack, but it's you again.
So
I'll fix that.
So I came from the carpet because I was there. What was that? 2 nights ago? Something like that. Last, by the way. Last. Yeah. Where was I? What was I saying?
We were talking about Mandalorian. So when did you get asked to do
Oh
it?
yeah. Okay.
Because I'm sure it's been a while, right? You had to keep this secret.
That was back in March or April or something. But I was on the carpet the other day. That's why I was saying that, because someone said, "So how? Tell us your audition process." And I was like, "Well, I know a guy named Dave Filoni. So he called me up and just said, you want to come do this? And I was like, yeah, I'd love to come do that. So,
I wouldn't think you would have to audition for something like that,
Well,
right?
yeah.
You know Dave.
Yeah.
And did they give you any information about the character? Like
Backstory?
Yeah.
Like something from George's old notebooks?
There's Gavin, he's gonna be on a prison ship. Sounds good.
You know how secretive everything is. I mean, I'm pretty sure like the day before I was going to shoot, I called my agent. I mean, I could have texted Dave too, but I was trying to do like the professional thing, and I was like, I'm shooting tomorrow. I've not seen a script. I've seen nothing.
Yeah.
And so I guess they got some information that I had a few lines, and I got that stuff sent to me. But I didn't know anything about anything. I mean, when I got down there, didn't know context, didn't know anything.
I love the wardrobe they had you wearing because it was a variant of some of the first characters we've ever seen in Star Wars. Those rebel blockade runner soldiers, just with sort of a different color scheme. And they, Bill Burr made fun of your shoes.
I know.
So that did happen.
You're still sore about that, I can tell.
I don't remember if that was in the script or not, or if that was all him just like going, look at his shoes.
Yeah, look at this guy's shoes.
Yeah, we should say something.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Orthopedics.
Yeah. So I can't remember if that was in there or not, but it's funny, Jimmy Mack, that you mentioned the costume, because when I did some initial like test fittings, I think they had made me a custom thing, and it wasn't that one. It was like green colored.
Oh.
And Dave he was like, that's definitely not right. We have to redo this into more of a blue. That was more, custom appropriate. So there was a thing. Dave's definitely keeping an eye on things like that.
He does.
Yeah.
And the helmet, the big like egg.
The helmet. So I had this death scene. Spoiler if you haven't seen it. Sorry.
Spoiler alert.
But I wasn't sure how I was gonna wear this huge helmet and die, because I was like, oh, I gotta lay on the ground and do this, and I figured that I was gonna be like. So, but we did it, and the helmet just kind of placed just right.
I got a question. I've always wanted to ask. I've never had an opportunity to ask an actor who has a death scene. This is gonna sound kind of morbid, but do they tell you like close your eyes, don't close your eyes?
This might be a secret.
I don't want to get you in trouble.
Well,
it's okay.
We did film an actual death, which they didn't show.
Like a more dramatic one? Like you're like,
they didn't show. There might be, I don't know, maybe it'll be in deleted scenes or something. I don't really know. I'm trying to be real careful as going.
I know we got to be very down. We don't want to get Matt in trouble.
Yeah. But we did this death a couple different ways because of Disney Plus and the whole. So we did like eyes open, eyes closed, like all that sort of stuff.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Now I know that that came up a lot during the Clone Wars, where there would be characters that would meet a sticky end, and they would sometimes animate it in a couple of different ways to try to get it past the censors for Cartoon Network. So that's not terribly uncommon. So I don't think we outed anything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a censored thing or not, or if it was just how graphic do we want to be,
Right.
how far do we want to go.
Man, you're such a good actor. You could do X eyes.
Like old Tom and Jerry cartoons.
And have the X.
Yeah. We did one like that too.
He's such a good actor. If you hit him on the head with a baseball bat, little birds come out and swim out. He's a natural. He's just a natural.
So obviously hot off of the Mandalorian. Also, how about Timeless? How great was it to be able to watch that every week in Timeless? And that show was, talk about a dedicated and devoted fan following with that show.
Yeah.
I mean, they just would not. They were not ready to let go of it, and they kept with the letter writing campaigns and the emails, and that's gotta feel good, right?
Oh yeah, it feels great. I mean, just to know that somebody loves what you're doing. We worked really hard on that show. It's a time travel. Anyone who hasn't seen it, it's a time travel show. There was 3 of us, so we were in scenes all day, every day. I mean, we worked a lot of hours. So to know someone loves your work that much, they spend their own hard-earned money to fly banners. They were flying banners over Comic-Con and some other areas I can't remember, but it's really validating in that selfish kind of way. But then also just to know that everybody's having so much fun with it, that they're that into it, and you know, doing the write-in campaigns and doing the Twitter campaigns and all that kind of stuff. Was really great. I'm just glad people loved it. I mean, they're still doing it. They're still like talking about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Abigail Spencer, who was in the show with me, has a show that just came out on Hulu, and I guess people have been asking her about Timeless, doing the rounds and, you know, doing the promotion. And she talked about doing a movie and how, you know, she'd love to do a movie. And so my feed is blowing up again with people saying, "What's going on there?"
Movie, yeah.
You never know. I mean, it seems like these ideas and franchises can go on forever.
They never seem to die now.
They never seem to die. And timeless it's a timeless concept. It's something that can be brought back at any time in the future.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, the potential in that show. I mean, you could go and meet anyone in history. It's just, it's endless potential. Yeah.
Right. Well, speaking of shows that keep coming back, we've got February coming upon us, and as we're all getting used to the idea that there won't be any more Mandalorian for a while, we can all get very excited about the Clone Wars returning to Disney Plus.
It may be the end of the Skywalker saga. But Anakin still has a couple things left to say before we really put the final nail in the coffin.
Right.
And again, we don't want to put you in a position where, you know, there's certain things you can't say, but you know, the fact that this is coming back, can you talk a little bit about when you found out that they were going to bring the show back?
It's a long time ago. It's like
in a galaxy.
That I found out. Yeah, I mean, it was a surprising phone call. Actually, I think I got a call from my agent before I heard from Dave or anybody at Lucasfilm. And so I got this call, and I didn't know if I should know about it at that time, because I thought, well, maybe someone like Dave or somebody would have called me. And then I got this phone call, and so I text Ashley. I don't know if you guys heard the story or not, but I text Ashley, and I was being all cryptic. And I was like, hey, have you gotten any interesting phone calls lately, or heard anything kind of weird that might be out of the ordinary? And I can't remember what she said, but I think she was sort of cryptic back, and then I texted James, and I was like, hey, James, how you doing? Have you heard anything weird lately? And then we all sort of got on to the fact that we were all talking about the same thing, and that was it. I guess it all just kind of came down real quick, and Dave hadn't had the chance to call everyone yet, so yeah, that was a good surprise. And you know, I know we've got I think it's 12 or 13 coming back out at the moment, but
oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. We are very excited about that.
I gotta be honest, I was the first person who ever typed hashtag save the Clone Wars.
It was you!
And it was
You did it!
I did it all by myself.
Yeah.
I am your top Hollywood power broker. But no, we did. We really rallied you guys, and everyone was sending us voicemails, Save the Clone Wars. We put together compilations, sent it to Lucasfilm on a CD. You guys all wrote in and let them know, and that really had a lot to do with, number one, the Lost Mission, season 6 actually getting released, and then them going back and completing season 7. And going out on your own terms, and Dave Filoni's own terms, and not being canceled.
Yeah.
So that is awesome. It's sad to see it come to an end fully, but great, we're gonna be seeing season 7. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I know. I keep thinking to myself that somewhere there's room for more.
Oh.
You never know.
I'm not saying that because I've heard something. I'm
Right.
as a
Have
fan,
you
like,
heard something weird?
17 seasons of Clone Wars. I mean, just as a fan. I mean, come on. If people are loving the show, but you know, Dave's doing some other things right now too. So
Why don't they just do a live action Clone Wars show with all of you guys in it?
Hey, speaking of live action, what about the end of Rise of Skywalker? Did you guys see the credit where it's Ahsoka Tano was one of the voices?
Oh yeah,
Yes, we did see that.
All the animated actors, and I personally, and don't take this the wrong way, Matt, but I've been resistant toward having animated mythology intertwined with the live action films,
Okay,
especially
sure, yeah.
these episodic films.
Sure, yeah.
The Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
I felt like it might just muddle things down too much.
You don't
But-
like the Clone Wars? You don't like this?
I didn't say that. But I think that the message that's being put across to us is the point that Rey was channeling all the Jedi. It wasn't just people who had an impact on the Skywalker story, but just Jedi from across the spectrum. And so hearing those familiar voices, I picked out Ashley right away. Is your voice in there?
It's not.
They didn't call you.
It's not. Well, here's the thing. In their defense, we can pretty clearly hear Hayden, right?
Yes.
Right.
So, I mean, for obvious reasons, that'd be a clash. You know, you can't wait.
I wouldn't have cried if it had been you.
Well, that's.
I'm just saying. You're being very polite, but
Also,
when you keep it in the cinematic universe canon, of course.
Yeah. Also, I've been in Toronto working on a Netflix series, so even if they had called, I wouldn't have been able to.
Yeah,
get down
you'd have been
and do
busy.
that. Yeah.
You'd have been busy. I actually saw some great photos of you and Hayden Christensen together. So the two of you have met. I believe.
I was at Chicago Celebration. Yeah,
Mhm.
that was the first time I met him.
Yeah.
He was back. They've got a huge green room where we're all just sort of floating around before we go out for our signings and stuff. And he was back there, and then I just went up to him and said, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Anakin."
Wait a second. What's going on here? What happened?
Yeah. He's a really super nice guy.
Yeah.
And he just said, thanks for doing what you guys have done. You really help keep the Star Wars thing alive. And he's super gracious. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That was a fun picture seeing the two
Yeah.
of you together.
And I captioned it, "We were the chosen ones."
Ah, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, two there are. Yeah. So you mentioned the Netflix show. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, sure. I'm also kind of like under a publicity
Embargo?
Yeah, with that too.
You're not supposed to be here right now, are you?
I'm not.
Really, he's literally on vacation. Guys, he and his beautiful wife, Angela, who is also here. Hello, Angela. They're literally on holiday. They're on vacation, and they were ridiculously kind enough to come here tonight. They found out we were doing this, and you were actually at the Rise of Skywalker premiere just a few nights ago.
I was, yeah.
Just recently come back to the beautiful Northeast Ohio area.
Biggest
anyway.
premiere I've ever seen, by the way. Biggest premiere I've ever been to.
Really?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay.
It was massive. Are you familiar with like the Hollywood and finally that area?
Yes.
Well, once they stop
They
inviting
closed
us
down
to
the-
these things, then the premieres
They
get really
closed down
big.
the
You notice
streets.
that?
Yes, but they still have the premieres.
Well, I know. I'm saying they got a lot bigger then.
They didn't stop having them just because they didn't want us there anymore. Shut it down!
Don't tell them. We still have premieres.
Yeah, right. We
They
don't know.
broke another thing. The RFR guys burned the house down again. No.
So this was massive.
Massive. So the El Cap Theater, which is kind of like the Disney-owned theater there on Hollywood Boulevard, typically a lot of Disney stuff is there. So behind that, there was a big structure built. I don't know if we were inside or outside, but it was a massive structure. Stars all in the ceiling. They had a lot of the ships hanging from the ceiling, and it was like multiple rows of media, and then you go up this alleyway, which is all carpeted and covered, by the way, with blue carpet. And then the entire Hollywood Boulevard was shut down and carpeted. And then they had the El Cap, the Kodak Theater, and the Chinese Theater all playing at the same time.
No kidding.
Wow. I've never seen anything that big.
Those are massive. For those that don't know, we're not talking about a multiplex here. We're talking about big theaters like the ones upstairs.
Yeah.
2,800, 2,500, 300, 3,000 people. Have three of those online showing that movie. That is massive.
The theater that I was in, I'm pretty sure, I haven't talked to anyone about this, but I don't think I heard it wrong. The announcer, they have someone that, welcome to and he said, "Return of Skywalker." Everyone goes, "Oh." Like the poor guy messed up his one job.
I'm Tom Kane. I'm welcome.
It wasn't Tom Kane. Tom was sitting in front of me.
Tom was with you.
Yeah, he was in front of me.
So I would imagine that's pretty fun when you guys get back together.
Oh, it's a blast.
You do talk to them once in a while, I would assume, right?
Yeah.
Still
James and I actually stay in touch quite often, and Ashley and I, and I think we're pretty good friends. We kind of text with them a lot.
Mhm.
So I stay in touch with a lot of those guys. But anytime we get together and kind of get to do that thing again. It's always a blast.
So give us your review of the Rise of Skywalker.
Oh man, well, I love it. I first tweeted right when I came out of there, and I felt like it was so much. I'm a little bit Billy Mack. It was just like so much thrown at you, so much emotionally and so much visually. The pacing was really, really intense. I'm looking forward to the second viewing, just because it is so much. I think there's so much there for fans to love. Yeah, I mean, I think it's up there. My wife thought it was maybe her favorite.
Ooh, there we go, top of the list.
But it's so different than like A New Hope, right? Like,
Yeah.
in my head, A New Hope is bad guys, good guys. Here's a story. Let's defeat them. Yay. You know, and not to be like too simplistic about it.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. It's the black hats and the white hats, and yeah.
It has changed so much. I mean, there's so much more happening. The speed is, crazy. George will be happy.
Yeah, faster and more intense.
Way intense. But it's one of those things I gotta continue to think about it. I want to see it again. I mean, just like the whole family lineage and all that. It's a lot to digest.
It is.
It really is.
By the way, I can't stop picturing Darth Dad now that you guys have talked about it. Like, I'm picturing him like slipping on micro machines at 3 a.m. shooting Force lightning.
Well, you're a fairly new dad, right? So
Yeah.
congratulations, Les. And I think it's awesome. Obviously, we have a room full of podcast listeners. You and your wife had a podcast as you were expecting your little one, and now you have a podcast that's kind of like after.
Yeah,
right?
so the one when we were expecting, we called it Hello Bump, and then we kind of moved on to Hello Baby, which we literally just a week or two ago kind of put it on an indefinite hiatus, just because life is a lot. Life is hard.
They're apparently more busy than we are, because we've been doing this for 14 years.
Yeah, but we do have that James Bond show that gets put on the back burner.
Oh, that's true.
So
yeah,
we get it.
Yeah, we do. Sometimes a year between episodes. So what else? Where else can we find what you guys are doing? I know you, Angela is, and Angela, you're welcome to come up here if you like. But she's good.
She's there with Billy Mack. But where's Puppet Lando?
Yeah, I don't.
He's out in the car waiting. The engine's running.
Yeah.
But I know you guys have a lot of projects online, and there's a YouTube channel. And
she's got
those that don't
the
know.
whole YouTube, and I do a lot of the behind-the-scenes filming and editing to kind of fulfill that creative side when I'm not actively working. The life of an actor. It's feast or famine.
Yeah. Well, I think it's been a lot of feast for you lately. It's been wonderful to watch your career unfold. You don't rest too long, it seems like, in between projects.
Not too much. I just finished that one in Toronto. We were doing that for about 6 months, so I'm looking forward to a little downtime. That'll be out we don't know yet. I think late 2020, maybe early 2021. It's
the Netflix program?
Yeah, it's a superhero thing. Netflix they're doing a whole new superhero universe.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be their thing, which is going to compete with Marvel and DC.
Right.
And we are the first show in that universe. So.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what your superpower may be, if you have one?
Well, so it's a comic. So I can tell you a little bit. So the comic's called Jupiter's Legacy. And then there's a prequel comic called Jupiter's Circle. And Jupiter's Circle is set in the 30s. Legacy is set present day, and the show is a bit of a combination of both. All of us can fly. All of us have super strength. My unique powers, I can kind of deal with tech. I have a power over tech.
Oh, wow. Maybe you could help us with our dead camera over here.
Yeah. Or your podcast in general. We operate it with, out of a cardboard box. So it's been a mess from day one. But Matt, thank you so much for joining us. Before we let go, I got to ask you about this cool you're wearing. It's Mandalorian season. Is this some crew wear?
Did Cleveland Chris make that for you?
I'm waiting on one of these, man.
Oh. I think we can hook you up. I'm sure we can. But that's great. So that's an official.
Yeah, it's the crew season 1 gift. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I would imagine, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but there's got to be a lot of joy regarding Mandalorian. It just seems like the fans are loving it. It seems like Dave and Jon Favreau have created something incredible that they can be excited about. And it's, as Werner Herzog, one of the actors from the series, has said, that they're creating a whole new mythology now. So I would imagine the buzz around that has got to be pretty exciting to be around.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Like I was saying, my phone just blew up after that brief, 3-minute scene that really only saw me for a few seconds. But I sent Dave a text the other day, and it was a big, long, kind of mushy text. I was just like, hey man, I just wanted to tell you, I'm so proud of you. I said, I know it's kind of weird maybe for me to be saying that because he's sort of been my boss. Right. But I said, I'm just so proud of you, and I'm so happy to see you doing what you're doing because he's, flourishing, and he's been such an amazing storyteller from the get-go, and he's had such an amazing grasp on Star Wars, and he learned that from George, and just to see him doing what he's doing was really cool, kind of on a personal level. And then, my family and Star Wars, Tracy Canovio there, she's, helping do the behind the scenes stuff, and that's just great. And, John, obviously, done the Mandalorian stuff and Clone Wars, and,
well, thanks for carrying that message to Dave, because I think all of us here in the whole Rebel Force radio community we've watched Dave's career with great interest, and it's just been amazing. And he is kind of, I think, for a lot of us, he's the next best thing to George Lucas. I think nobody gets it like Dave.
And it's also been proven that Star Wars storytelling, especially live action storytelling, is not the easiest nut to crack, even for great filmmakers, and we've seen many come and go. But the Favreau-Filoni combo seems to get it, and they're doing it right.
When I was on set, there was I was witnessing dialogue between them, talking Star Wars story, and would this and wouldn't this and how is this, and
nice.
It's Dave, he's doing awesome.
Do you find that Dave approaches this, and is he the same guy to you as far as the guy that was doing the animation?
Yeah, just a lot busier.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that he's the same guy. I mean, he just loves Star Wars and loves the stories, and harder to get in touch with now, but he's the same Dave to us,
Yeah, you're not telling me anything I don't know. Anyway, well, Matt, it's amazing to have you here. We can't tell you how much we appreciate and value your friendship. All the way back, I mean, how many years ago was it that I interviewed you at
my
aunt's
house? Yeah, that was a while ago, and that was back when I didn't know anything about Star Wars.
I remember hitting that doorbell. I just felt so dorky showing up with my little microphone, and I'm going to interview Anakin Skywalker, for God's sake.
I remember you called him to make these arrangements, and when you called him, he had his Bluetooth going through his car speakers, and he picked it up and said, hello, and the next thing Jason heard was, Jason, it's Anakin. He said he almost swerved off the road.
I had just seen the Clone Wars movie like a couple of times, and so that voice was in my head, and it was an awesome experience, and I really mean it. I mean, I don't mean to diminish anyone else, but we watched and listened to you give life to Anakin Skywalker and fulfill that promise of the relationship that he had with Obi-Wan Kenobi, your relationship with James Arnold Taylor, and you gave us just so much amazing entertainment, and again, fulfilled that promise of what that story between those two great characters was going to be like, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Lanter, Anakin Skywalker.
Oh, there we go.
Somebody grab this. Angela, come on up here. This is like it will never happen again. All right. We got to show it. Thank you.
Good. Matt says he's going to hang out for a little while, so we are going to continue to talk Star Wars, and I think right now is a good opportunity to start lining up some people by that microphone. We can talk about the Rise of Skywalker.
I had a gift for Matt. Where'd it go? It was sitting right here. There's a little white bag
There's
for
a
Matt and
little white
Angela.
bag. I think it might
Someone-
be behind
someone
the
pilfer that?
thing. It could be.
Oh, Jody's got it. By the way, Jody is our production stage manager here tonight. She's been amazing. Hey, everybody. If you listen to the show, I talk about Jody just being a puddle on the floor with eyeballs. That was Jody. Sobbed through the whole movie last night. It was
She
great.
is a huge
Big Star Wars fan. And we want to
OTOG.
Hold on, I'm going to run this
That's what I'm
over. I'm
talking
going to
about.
here move the mic or the camera over to you.
Yes. Here we are. Oh, shoot, there it goes.
All right, or not. Maybe just drop it off.
You know, the cardboard box is really failing us right now.
It's all good.
But it's okay.
This is
It's
just a
okay.
ticket.
We haven't broken any laws yet. But that'll be happening. See, this is why we're an audio podcast primarily, ladies and gentlemen. It's when it comes to cameras and things like that.
Well, that's all right. I'm here.
Jason
I'm
is
here.
here.
Hey, we got another
Why do you have this
announcement.
up here?
It's upside down.
Well, that would help.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Hey, Jimmy, entertain the people.
Entertain the people.
Okay, well, who wants to talk about the rise of Skywalker with me right now? Let's have some.
Are we on?
Let's have some conversation with. Is that Christian Mock, ladies and gentlemen?
Can we fix the camera? He says.
Star Wars documentarian Christian Mock, old friend of ours here at Rebel Force Radio, director and creator of The Force Among Us, The Force Within Us, and also the Real Fans of the Saga, which is streaming now on Amazon.
Yes.
So that is a lot of good stuff.
Happy holidays.
Chris started making Star Wars documentaries, fan documentaries, as a way
Need another
to
phone?
stay connected to Star Wars after the end of the Skywalker saga in 2005 with the Revenge of the Sith. And Chris, you tell this tale of woe about sitting at a bar crying in your beer, believing it was the end, how wrong you were, and how much work you created for yourself when it really wasn't the end at all. So,
But you know, at the time, it really was the end. And last night, I was thinking to myself that, wow, here we are, episode 9 has been released.
we're at the end again.
You know? And part of me, I told my buddy Sean Hines that I felt more attached and more connected to the prequels than I did 7, 8, 9. And I don't know if it's maybe because it was a certain time of my life. That was episode 1 came out 20 years ago.
Or the authenticity that those were made by George Lucas himself.
Yes.
I think that to me made those particular entries into the saga have a more profound effect. Even though, of course, you know, you can recognize the flaws in there, whatever, if you want to take the time to do
Part of
that.
the bloodline, you know?
Nobody says you have to.
Right.
No, you know, you could sit there and watch it with a kid, with a 10-year-old, and watch those movies through their eyes. And maybe go on a whole different ride that you never expected. That happens. So that's the timeless effect of the Star Wars saga. And I think that the particular entries that George Lucas has his fingerprints all over have that effect in a big way. And I think episode 9 had that effect in a big
Well,
way as well.
I think I really lived through that last night. That, you know, George Lucas really had the grasp on.
Keep talking. Keep talking.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, man.
Yeah,
So, you know, Lucas had his touch on 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
And God bless JJ for finishing number 9.
So you liked it?
I did, yes, I
Okay.
did like it. But I need to share something with you because when we were in Chicago,
Yes.
the big plan was to have my sister Courtney come down to Reggie's, and she's never available. She's a mother of 4 kids. She's on the corporate ladder.
Right, you guys collaborated to
Yes.
produce your first fan
So
documentary.
last night, I need to read this to you. Last night, I got out of the movie, I turned my phone on, and I said, we need to go see this movie on Sunday.
Yes.
I can come to you, because my sister lives about 45 minutes away from me.
That's a long time.
It is.
When you're busy people.
Well, yeah, when you're busy people, yes. I said, I can come to you. And she says, Ben, who my brother-in-law, her husband, Ben and I are seeing it tomorrow at Yorktown in Lombard, Illinois, at 1 p.m. I can't wait. Not sure if I can see it again on Sunday. It depends on the kiddos. She's got 4.
Right, right.
Have you seen it? And I replied, I just got out of the theater. I turned my phone on and I text you right away. We need to see this movie together.
Yes.
Because I grew up on the old movies, the original trilogy with her. I saw 1, 2, and 3 with her opening night.
Are you guys twins?
We're not.
A lot of people
that
think
would be
you
well
are.
fitting.
A lot of people think you are.
No, we do look
Tell you, we got a couple twins from Maine over here. These guys, they came in all the way from Maine. The Tomzak brothers.
We got real twins, real force twins.
Yeah.
Tom Zach's wave.
There, right there.
They're twins, yeah.
There's a force dyad right there.
So my sister replies, I can't wait to see it. It better be good.
Oh, thank you.
And my reply was, it's good. It's the best of the new 3. It ties all 3 together. I'm not a fan. I personally, after
These are really long text messages.
Yeah, they're really long. They're really long.
After seeing it last night, I'm not a fan of the way the movie looked.
You're not a fan of the way the movie looked?
The way it looked, no. The story was flawless, but I thought it looked like Green Lantern in 2009.
I thought he was going to give this like really sentimental
I
thing
did too.
about him and his sister getting together after being separated by 45 minutes of traffic.
Go and look.
And all of a
Because,
sudden,
the Force Among Us, the cinematography in that was just so spellbinding. that anything J.J. Abrams and the Wizards of ILM can come up with really takes the back burner. I'm just kidding. I love you. I love you. I love your documentaries.
I'm a little disappointed you did not make it to the Star Wars Christmas party last week. I've invited you to 5 in a row.
Listen, I was a little under the weather and I had to make sure I was at 100% peak efficiency for this group of people, and that's Chris Mock's Christmas party, which I do blow off every year. You think 45 minutes is far away? Chris is like 2 days away from me by covered wagon.
And Jimmy says, I hope you don't hate me. And I said, no, I love you. Just make sure I'm on the guest list for tonight.
Oh, there he is. All right. Chris Mock, ladies and gentlemen. All right, who's next?
Check out Real Fans of the Saga on Amazon. You're done, Chris. No, you're done. You are done. You are out. Security, please.
Where's that house manager when we need her?
Cleveland Police. All right, one more.
Okay. All right, one more.
This is my sister's reply. We've gotten 45 minutes into this. My sister, who does not cry, and I know you hate criers of Star Wars.
Well, I used to.
Yeah, until last night. Chewie fell to his knees. That was Jimmy Mack.
My sister replied, I cried multiple times. It was so good. Going to take her daughter tomorrow. God bless J.J. Abrams. It was so good. Next reply. So good. Next reply.
So good. So good. All right. Okay, Chris Mock, ladies and gentlemen. So good. Chris Mock. So good, so done.
All right.
All right, let's let someone else have a chance here.
All right, we got someone else. Who's next?
Hold on, I'm fixing the camera.
Oh, Jody's fixing the camera over there.
Fixing the camera.
Moving the mic
All
to
sorts
better
of problems
spot.
going on.
Is this one
Jason,
working?
yes.
Yeah, that way you're good. You're good.
Jason?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, that's good. It looks great.
Okay.
Who's next?
Go ahead.
Step right up. Hello, sir.
I'm back.
Yeah, you are back.
Yeah. You're a second timer. You're a double dipper. You're a double dipper. You took the chip, you dipped it in, and then you bit the chip, and then you dipped it in again. You're a double dipper. But that's fine.
So, when I went to see the movie this morning,
Yeah.
for the second time, which
Uh-huh.
was great. Last night was so fast, and tonight was great.
Oh, so it slows down for you the second time you see it. and you're able to. No, I mean that makes sense though.
It does. It really
You know,
does.
when you first see it, it's just like.
You gotta see it a second time.
Yes, I need a viewing of it where it lacks the intensity, so I can follow all of these MacGuffins from the sit dagger to the wayfinder to this and that, and the planets and all of that.
So I started
It just,
thinking about
yeah.
how does this connect to the prequel trilogy?
How does it? That's a good question.
And I was thinking about the ending, and you know, Ben sacrifices him. He sacrifices him.
Yes.
It's like trying to think. What I was thinking about.
Well, here's what I thought of when I saw
me
the,
every week on the show. Don't let it get you down.
what I thought when I saw the ending was it was Romeo and Juliet for me, right? Except that in this case they both of them don't die. But this power that Jedi have discovered to be able to heal. Now, here's something that's interesting, right? Speaking of Mandalorian, the night before the movie comes out, we see Baby Yoda in The Mandalorian with these force powers that enable him to heal another. And I don't think, look, these are very, very smart people when it comes to, rolling these stories out. So I don't think it's any accident that we were exposed to this force power. And yes, I know you're probably going to come at me with novels and comics and all of that, but to my knowledge on visual Star Wars in terms of the cinematic universe, the animated film or animated series, we've never seen this type of Jedi Force power. So it kind of began with Mandalorian on Wednesday night, and then we go into this, and here we've got this sacrifice, which he learned from Rey.
Well,
He really did, right?
Well, this is the connection to the prequel trilogy. Anakin wanted to save Padme.
Stop people from dying.
Stop people from dying. That's what Anakin wanted.
What ended up happening is Ben used the Force to save somebody who
Rey from dying. But the unfortunate side effect is that you die when you do that. So,
Well, wait a minute, though. I don't know that we know that for sure.
Ben is dead.
Well, I know that. Hold on. I know that Ben is dead, but it doesn't mean that if you use your force powers to bring another. Well, okay. Hold on. Now I'm thinking about this because I've only seen it once, folks. So forgive me. I need time.
He needs time to wrap
Ray
said that it takes your life.
Ray was dead.
Ray was dead.
Ray was dead.
Ray
Right? Eyes open
But
dead.
they established that in the snake.
Right.
thing. It takes her force and
Right.
somebody.
But wait a minute. But Ray survived healing the basilisk, and then she survives healing Kylo. But he wasn't fully dead. That's right. So we got the Tom Zach twins saying he wasn't. He was only mostly dead.
Yeah. They answered stereo, these guys.
Yes. So that was really a transference of his life energy to hers, not unlike what we saw Leia do for Kylo as he was engaged in the battle.
That's the whole thing.
Skywalker saga.
Right.
Save people
the whole
from dying.
Skywalker story is about ultimate sacrifice.
Right.
Ultimate sacrifice.
Right.
Anakin gave his life for Luke. Luke gave his life for Leia. Leia gave his life for Ben. Ben gave his life for Rey.
I'm gonna start crying.
That's good.
I ain't gonna
That's
start
good.
crying.
That's good. I like that. I like that. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Good job, Jay.
We've got other folks lined up there
Well
behind you.
Well
Who
done.
else do we have?
Hey, how you doing? My name's Adam. I'm from Spring Hill, Ohio.
Adam from Ohio.
So I found something interesting. Like I'm a big fan. My favorite Star Wars is Return of the Jedi.
Mine too?
Yes. Wait.
What year were you born?
88.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't really work.
But I always found it interesting that Palpatine was always taunting and trying to get Luke to strike him down, and I never understood why. But now they kind of brought that full circle.
Ooh.
And
I didn't
he wanted Rey to strike him down so that he could possess her body and become the next Empress. And I wanted to know what you guys thought about that.
I think that's really smart. I think it's very smart because we didn't really know. I mean, as a kid, watching that movie for the first time, my assumption was he was doing that to taunt Luke, to really get that anger built up into him,
To give into the dark side.
Exactly. But this movie takes it a step further.
Right.
Could Palpatine have been thinking at that time that he would be able to transfer his life essence into Luke? Luke would become one of the Sith. He would become one of the Sith then to live within Luke, like all the other Sith live within him.
And then Palpatine realizes, oh, he's got a metal hand. Oh, man.
What is it with these Skywalkers?
If I only knew, I would have.
That's a really good point. I think you're absolutely right. I think that this does bring that full circle. Though perhaps the fact that Rey is a Palpatine, that may have made it a little bit of a different scenario there for him.
Thematically, it was always intended to be about that in fighting. I think Lucas has talked about this in so many words, that in fighting your enemy, you wind up using hatred and methodology that makes you as bad as them at some point. And that was what Palpatine was feeding into. In this movie, though, I started to think it was more of a ruse, really. Doesn't he at some point, because he talks about her taking the place of him as the Empress, but at one point, I didn't have the rewind button to replay it.
Yeah, they don't give that ability in the theater.
Yeah,
because he's the guy you always, when you're watching a movie with him, he always has to pause it and then explain to you, well, what the director was going for here. I'm like, I'm trying to watch this movie, guy.
No,
but first,
sometimes there's discussions I like.
The school of John Huston always says, come on, just play the movie.
But doesn't he at one point, Palpatine, say, I'm feeding off of your life force or something, and now it will be the one true emperor.
True.
Yeah. He starts talking about himself again.
Yeah, after he discovers that they're a dyad in the Force, he goes ahead and absorbs them. But before
Wait, who's a dyad? Him and
Ray and
the dyad is Ray and
Kylo.
Yeah,
but
go see the movie again, Bill.
Yeah. Debbie
I'm
Downer.
just trying to.
But before that, he mentions that
You guys
is
all-
all of the Sith, and that he is going to be struck down by Rey, and therefore she's going to become the next Empress, because he's going to further put all the Sith into her. So is he really the life force behind all of the Sith, and he's going to basically possess Rey?
Yes, so he lives on, even though his physical body
Right.
dies, he enters her somehow.
Right.
Yeah, and in the
Family show.
in the stadium. Okay, but in the stadium filled with Sith drones or whatever they are.
Right.
Is that
The acolytes,
Are
that's
they
right.
all part of Palpatine's Force spirit? Does he absorb them as well? Is that the idea?
Texting
What do you-
Pablo
I
Hidalgo.
don't know.
He'll have all the answers. But I like that maybe he isn't going to be tweeting out all the answers, so we can continue to have these fun conversations like this. And we're just beginning to scratch the surface of that. This is opening day for this film. We are going down a rabbit hole. That's gonna take us
but it's
to all
good.
kind of
It is
interesting
great
places.
conversation. That's a really great question. Thank you very much,
Yes, thank you,
Ohio.
Adam. Good job, Adam.
All right, who else do we have over here?
It's wearing a Rebel Force Radio hoodie.
Excellent.
Very nice.
All right.
Dayton, Ohio.
All right,
Nice
another
to meet you.
Ohio.
Daniel?
So, curious, first a comment. I appreciated that my expectations were not subverted, but exceeded.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's good too.
That was nice. Second, curious what you guys thought about the Luke scene, specifically Octu. I thought Mark Hamill looked like he actually enjoyed those scenes. There was a smile on Man's face.
He looked a little less tortured, didn't he?
He sure did.
Well, the character of Luke is, you know, in a very different place right now because he's a blue glowing.
That's a fact.
So I think you achieve a certain amount of higher existence, you know, that puts you above a lot of that stuff. I don't know. It seems like a lot
He's
of
on a higher plane of consciousness.
Yeah.
For sure.
So that makes for a better day.
And his hair got longer.
And his hair, yeah, he's letting his freak flag fly a little more.
Yeah.
He's just, you know, he's like, you know,
I got a question. I got a question
dead,
about
might as well
that.
just let it all hang out.
I thought it was the best Luke Skywalker figure we could have gotten.
It was good. It was good. I really loved watching him levitate the X-wing out of the water. The callback to Dagobah and the Empire Strikes Back, and you know, it just is that's something we expect from the character of Luke Skywalker, to aid the rebellion resistance and to use his connection to the Force to provide the next generation with the tools they need and truly pass on that baton. That's what I think Episode 9 did. We've heard the filmmakers talk a lot about how these films are going to pass the baton from the original characters to the next generation, and I think they finally fulfilled that with Episode 9. So, which exceeded your expectations.
All right. Thank you very much. I agree.
For joining us here. Skywalker Rises in Ohio.
Who else we got?
Hello there.
Hello.
Hello there.
Good evening. My name is Brendan from Columbus, OH.
Oh, that's a thing you guys do here. I thought you practiced that before we came out here, but
that's a thing we do.
Okay, I love it actually. I really prefer that, and I'm taking that back with me to Illinois. People are probably going to react very poorly to that. But
what you got, Columbus?
Well, hey, first of all, I do want to say thank you guys so much for coming out to Ohio again. I know this has been a kind of a regular spot, and I hope that
I work here. I just came down the stairs. So.
We appreciate it. Thank you very much. And Matt, thank you for coming as well, man.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I do have a question. I do want to take one other person. My fiance Taylor is at home. She puts up with a lot of my Star Wars craziness. When we first started dating, she had no idea that I was so obsessed with Star Wars.
yeah, you do have to keep that on the down low. That is true.
She jokes about it. She's like, I didn't know.
Yeah, you got to be cool about that.
So, but she's put up with lots of Taylor. If you're watching at home, thank you very much, and I love you. So.
Oh, there we go. So, a warm and fuzzy for the holidays.
There we go. Very good. So I will say, Billy, you and I are kind of on the same page. Yeah.
An ally.
Yeah,
You
are not alone.
I needed one.
You're not alone. But I do have good news. I saw the movie again this morning, and it does play out much better in my heart and mind this morning than it did last night when I saw it for the first time.
Okay.
My fiance Taylor last night, she looked over at me. She's like, "So what did you think?" And I was like, "Eh." And she's like, "Come on, man," because of everything she's put up with. But this morning, seeing it again, just knowing what was coming, knowing the pacing. Just knowing everything that's been laid out, you're ready, and you can kind of just like Billy, like you always, or Jimmy, like you always say, it's Star Wars that is.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's fantastic.
Well, they're not. I mean, these aren't like watching regular movies. I mean, I'm a huge movie fan. I love movies. I watch movies, old movies. You name it. I watch them all the time. I love film, and I fell in love with film as a kid, seeing the original Star Wars. But my experience going to see these movies is not comparable to going to see an Avengers film or some kind of drama.
Yeah.
It's very different. There's a certain amount of pressure. I think that's really the best way to put it. When you go in, you really want to like these movies.
Of course. Yeah.
I mean, we love Star Wars.
Yeah.
I love Star Wars despite what I might have say about this film. I feel a little strange actually.
It is weird.
Expressing some opinions contrary to to my Star Wars brethren here.
And on
But,
Monday, Billy checked into therapy.
But anyway, let me get to the point. What I'm getting at is that every time I've gone to see these movies, they've always been different the second time.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking forward to that experience. And
I'm looking forward to 500 times. That's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I'm talking about, because you really can't fully.
Oh my gosh, that's very
sweet.
Thank you very much. Oh,
This is where I say,
oh my God, I didn't even recognize you in the light.
Those are my scenes. Oh, there's a reunion for Swank of some sort.
I'm sorry. Wait, hold on now. Wait a minute. We've got Jimmy Downer, right? And
Jimmy Downer? What are you talking
I'm
about?
sorry, Billy Downer, and we've got
Downer.
Adam Downer. This was Adam. Remember how drunk he was the other night on the show when he called in? This is Adam Griffin. We had it was the
be just as drunk.
It was I'm getting close, but it was the trailer reaction show, and he called us up. He's like, what I was thinking about your trailer. He's like Foster Brooks, for God's sake. He's like, I think the trailer just shows that it's all over. Stop with the Star Wars. You were very upset now, but I got to give Adam credit because he was the guy that said in the lead up to Last Jedi, he was watching those trailers and he was saying, I think we're going to see a very different Luke Skywalker in this.
Yeah, I heard Mark Hamill say the same thing.
Well, I know. Well, right, but
did Mark Hamill argue with Kyle Newman?
Yeah, no. Hey, you know what? Sorry, Columbus. I wanted Adam to come over there just for a second. I want him to interrupt because Adam has been a voice on the show.
Look how he just walks up on the stage when he decides he wants to get on the show. I'm just going to go over and tell Swank.
Step up there, Adam.
All right,
because Adam
alert.
has had.
Bummer alert.
All right, this is going to be.
Bummer alert. All right, hey, Adam, good to see you.
So Adam has had I bring him up because again he was one of the guys that was sort of warning us of the Luke Skywalker we were about to meet, and you talked about a neutered Luke Skywalker in Episode 8, right? I think
your exact words were neutered.
No.
Yes, they were. Jason said so. He said Luke is like some dog who just got.
But you were talking about a very different Luke Skywalker,
I was.
right? Yes.
And I said, we watched the trailer, and I talked to Kyle on the call, and I'm like, I bet you this is a Luke that is on the island the whole movie, and he's in a very compromised position.
Can anyone hear Adam? Can you hear him?
Adam, get close to the microphone there.
Hello.
There it is.
Hello there. Hi. Hello there. Where were we?
Yeah, you were talking. So you had a very different perspective of Luke going into. And it really was the Luke that we saw in Episode 8. So going into 9, you were kind of down on the trailer. Now you've seen the movie. This was the guy, remember Adam, he called it, he's like, I lived in the trailer's temple.
All right. Before he answers, I want a round of applause. Do you think Adam's going to say he liked the movie? Round of applause. Yeah! Are you going to think Adam is going to say he didn't like the movie? Round of applause. Smattering, just a smattering. And then most people decided not to participate at all. Because they're like, who's Adam and why do I even care? What am I even doing?
I don't even care.
But so Adam, tell us, did you like it or?
Before I get into my opinion of the movie, I just want to give a shout out to the love of my life, Baba Freak.
Oh, Baba, we have not talked about that little guy.
I love that guy. He was so cute. He was
fabulous.
He was.
Also, hi Rachel.
Hi Rachel. I will be working on a Babu Freak voice for 2020. So I'm workshopping it right now.
Yeah, right.
So Billy,
with lots of helium tanks.
You've officially taken the Downer mantle. I feel like I had nothing to come up here and say because I love this movie.
Oh,
he loved it!
The baton has been passed.
He loved it!
I had a huge smile on my face the whole time, and I didn't want to turn to my wife and say, I love this movie because I was afraid I was going to jinx it. It's something I didn't love, but every single part flowed. I loved every second of the movie.
All right, just first thing that comes to your mind was the standout moment of the Rise of Skywalker.
I already said Babu Freak.
Oh, wow.
All right, beside
That
Babu
can't
Freak.
be, that's just,
All right,
I
give us
love
something
Kitster
else.
too, but
Okay, no, hold on a second. Hold on. I got to ask you, Adam, because I know that Luke Skywalker as a character, like many of us, means very, very, it means a lot to you. And that was one of your concerns going into The Last Jedi. I think you turned out to be correct. And despite, I know that, yes, Mark Hamill was very vocal about his thoughts, but I feel like Adam was really there before Mark was out there doing that. I think Adam was really on it from the beginning, from that teaser trailer. So, what was did Luke come back to you as a Star Wars fan in this movie?
Well, when we talk about weeping openly, I did do that several times in the movie, as Chris can attest to. But Luke catching the lightsaber and saying The Last Jedi was a bad movie was a big moment.
Well, all right, now, in fairness, I don't think he really said that. All right, okay.
Again, divisiveness. Because of course, The Last Jedi is the most divisive film in the history of Star Wars.
All right, but
all the reviews, the critics love The Last Jedi, and all the reviews say that they don't like it because it totally spit all over The Last Jedi. But I actually disagree. It actually makes The Last Jedi better, and it actually lifts The Last Jedi up. It's actually.
I was saying that last time.
It's Jimmy Mack. Oh.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
It's
all
Jimmy
good.
Mack that originally said that this movie could either make the rest of the trilogy better or
Right.
could make the rest of the trilogy worse. And there was a whole. There was a bunch of times when they went in one by one and fixed things from The Last Jedi, but there was a bunch of times when they took things over from The Last Jedi. The most obvious is the Force time, but there was also when the TIE fighters were following the Millennium Falcon through hyperspace because The Last Jedi.
Right, yeah, the hyperspace
Yes,
tracking.
that was cool. That was very cool.
To see TIE fighters actually make the hyperspace jump is interesting.
In The Last Jedi, Luke did the really forced recap of the prequel trilogy when he mentions Darth Sidious, and in the context of the first two movies that seemed random, but now it makes sense because he's establishing what's going to come in the next movie. So that's another nice thing that The Last Jedi sets up.
Yeah.
The X-Wing being at the
I like what you're saying. This was not just a complete obstruction of the last movie. This was in some ways, it was a continuation. It was complementary. That's a great word. Rich said it was complementary, and I think that's absolutely right. It complemented it in a way.
Ian McDermott went out of his way to pay tribute to Andy Serkis's performance. If you notice in the Sith ritual, he was talking exactly like Snoke talked during the throne room sequence, where he's like, remember, he lifts his lightsaber and he kills his true enemy. And he said the same things with Rey.
Yeah,
He's like, she lifts her lightsaber and she strikes me. So JJ did not just tear down The Last Jedi, he also built upon it. He fixed things that didn't work, and he elevated things that did work, like the Force time and all the things we're talking about. So I think that this movie was a Star Wars movie, and it did manage to make it all work together. And the only people that don't like this movie, not besides you,
besides Billy,
I think Billy's struggling with this movie right now.
Critics.
I don't think
Are
it's
the
fair.
critics
I have mixed
who never
feelings.
understood Star Wars.
Yes!
And finally,
Yes!
a Star Wars movie that actually is a Star Wars movie.
It saved it.
Now I want to watch them again. When I went into this movie, I was like, what if I leave this movie and I never want to watch those movies ever again? But that's not true, because I want to watch all of them again, because it built upon everything.
Yeah, thank you, Adam.
Redemption!
Redemption
from Adam! Redemption!
You know, I want to just jump on what Adam said. Honestly, after watching the movie last night, I was ready for episode 10. I wanted to see more. And I'm the guy that said that Rey and Finn and Poe didn't earn this opportunity to close.
He did say that.
I didn't say. I did. I said they didn't earn the opportunity to close this saga, but I think they've certainly earned the opportunity to continue this saga. They finally passed the torch, I think, in a really great way. By the way, I pushed Adam in front of Columbus. Columbus, we love you. Thank you very much. I just want to say thank you. I don't want to give you a short shrift.
You're good. We're going to let someone else have a...
But let's have someone else take a shot here. Step on up. Who else has a question?
Hi
Hello there.
Elena.
Hi, Elena.
Where are you from? From Columbus.
Also Columbus.
How come there's no response? On the movie, and I think there was sort of a plot hole in the movie.
Plot hole in a Star Wars movie?
that?
No.
So, you know in The Last Jedi, the final battle between Kylo and Luke says.
Get a little closer to the mic. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Sure.
Luke says, "See you around, kid," and
Yes.
you can obviously interpret this on like many ways. But the way I interpret it is that he would like show up and randomly like scare the crap out of Kylo in like the next movie.
Yeah,
It
that's
happened.
good.
So obviously I think it was like a good thing that didn't happen, but I would have liked to see it play out and see what really happens. But like it would have changed the movie significantly, but it was a plot hole.
Well, okay, so I think one of the things that they sort of established, Ray mentioned, was it Ray? Who was it that said to Kylo that his father still haunts him? Was it Ray?
Ray.
Yes, yeah, Ray is the one that says, you know, you're still haunted by your father. And I don't think it's a leap to think that he's still haunted by Luke as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some tie-in material that shows this. I'm actually really excited to see some of this tie-in material between episodes 8 and 9, because I'd like to see some of the psychology playing out with Kylo Ren as he's grappling with all of these issues, and yeah, see you around, kid. And of course, then the first thing you see with Han Solo is, "Hey, kid." So yeah, really good point. Thank you very much.
That's a good
Appreciate
one.
it.
And then we did point out, I think we pointed out on last night's show that the last two words that Han Solo said to Kylo was, "I know." So, and then,
I missed that. I can't wait to see it again tomorrow because I'm anxious to hear that.
Yes.
I know.
Who else do we have?
You know, I know
In
you
Force,
know.
yeah, but in Force
Ooh.
Awakens.
No,
Hey, you know what?
The movie that you are a downer about that apparently you didn't pay attention to, and that's why you.
I gotta take we got one more.
I've been putting up with this abuse for.
You know, before we gotta wrap up here in just a few minutes, but
Yes,
I
we're
want to
gonna
take
do our big Bose giveaway. We got the.
But before we do that, we have an announcement to make. This is sort of unprecedented for us. Rebel Force Radio, we like to think that we're the epitome of rebels when it comes to podcasting, and especially Star Wars podcasting. Thank you. But occasionally you realize, just like the Resistance realized that they needed the assistance of other systems and warriors from other planets to come in and help them. And every once in a while, it's good to accept that kind of help and accept that friendship. And Rebel Force Radio is now entering a new era where we have joined forces with the folks at Evergreen Podcast. We are now officially a part of the Evergreen Podcast Network. We're really proud to be a member, and we have a whole group of the whole team of Evergreen Podcasts is here with us behind here. And basically, you know, what this means, unfortunately, is you're going to get a whole lot more Rebel Force Radio for you. Nothing wrong with that. So we've got a whole team here, but if Michael could step up to our guest mic here. We've got Michael from Evergreen. And Michael, thank you very, very much. And, you know, what made you want to, you know, take responsibility for us?
Well, a big fan of Star Wars. I saw the first movie when I was 7.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I have a daughter who's turning 6, it's the one thing that I share. She and I are
That's the
huge
best.
Star Wars
Yeah.
fans.
That's the best.
And we started with the Star Wars cartoon, the Clone Wars. So that it's
Animated series.
The animated series.
That's what he's. I was thinking it.
Matt's out of here, ladies.
Manlanter storms out of the theater. The notion that he actually acts in a cartoon. Animated series, sir. You may continue.
I think this partnership's not going to last.
A Sith Lord.
So that was part of the legacy. It's really been a joy working with you two gentlemen and getting on the network. We're a Cleveland-based podcast network, and to have your show come on was just a humbling moment for us. It's been 3 years of struggle for us, and this is like we just felt like we're in the big leagues now. It was really a turning
Well, thank you so much.
So thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate the time. I'm gonna
Cheers.
go back and hide my face for maybe next day.
All right. Well, we appreciate it,
Thank
Michael,
you
and
so
the whole
much.
team at Evergreen Podcasts. We're very excited to be here.
Be sure to check out the full lineup of shows at evergreenpodcast.com.
Yes.
You're going to be hearing more about them as we rock into 2020.
Whoever's next is the lucky person that's going to ask the last question of the night. Who do we have? I know.
So Todd from
Make it good.
Todd. Talked to you guys the other night and kind of stole a little bit of my thunder.
Who did?
Elena is my daughter.
Oh.
And she, was kind enough to come with me, but this has just been an amazing day for us. We saw the movie this morning. We drove up here listening to your show last night. We're talking the whole time. I had to pause your show just so she and I could bounce ideas off of each other. I said,
Wow.
You gotta go ask your question because everybody wants to know that kind of thing. And it started with the Clone Wars. We both watched that together. We bonded, and I think we see a couple other kids in the audience. I think this is just a great. And I don't have a question. It's really more of a comment. This is just a great family. We watched the Skywalker family. Now we're seeing all of us pass this down to our kids and make it a family thing for us too. Thanks for everything you guys do. It's been a great day. It's been a great experience, and I just think it's going to just keep going. We got things on TV, and we got.
Wow, thank you.
What you guys do, and being an outlet for our family.
Oh, that's so nice.
Thank you so
What
much.
a those are great comments to wrap up.
That's a great way to
Unbelievable
wrap
night
things up.
of friendship, fandom, and passion for the Star Wars saga. And it's all about families. It's all about families.
Definitely want a lot of people to thank here. Of course, Chris mocked Chris and his sister Courtney. Really, some of our oldest friends when it comes to our podcasting adventures here. Also, how about the Tom Zach twins? These two guys, they came. You came all the way from I can't remember where.
Maine.
That is a long drive.
They flew.
Oh, they flew, but still, that's a long
And boy,
time.
are their S-foils tired.
Yes,
That's how you
that's
tell a
how you
joke.
do it.
That's how you
Okay,
do
all
it.
right. Well, that's great. Oh, Tomash. Right. The Tamashi station. All right, and also Sheldon and Chase Norton, two of our longest friends.
Can we talk about the end of the film last night? So the final shot, Rey standing there in Tatooine, staring out at the setting suns.
Beautiful.
Credits. So I do one of these.
Yeah. And the first thing that Max sees.
I have to dry up all of this salty discharge on my cheeks that Swank will make fun of me for. And so I pull up the thing and I'm like, ah! And it's Sheldon with the camera right in my face.
Oh, what did you think of that? Within seconds.
Immediate reactions.
Imagine looking at this mug. First thing after you, I'm like, the last Star Wars movie.
There it is. And it was enough of an emotional roller coaster watching that film.
Uncle Fester over here.
To see, that's not easy. What do you fall down? Hey, Bald is beautiful. Bald is beautiful. So thank you, Sheldon.
Sheldon and his son Chase.
The footage of me as the credits roll should be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It should be very interesting.
Also, Chris Amarim. Chris, right there.
We love Chris.
Is a great friend. He does all of the cover art for all of our podcast episodes. So
whenever you see mashups of Padme lying in a coffin, but with headphones on, listening to RFRs, she's holding the iPod in her hands. We actually got complaints about that.
Really?
That was so disrespectful. Wait, this is a fictional character.
She's an actress, for God's sake. She's still alive. I follow her on Instagram.
But that idea was Chris's. So send your complaints to Chris. We work with Chris each and every week, and he helps our website and social media look great. And he also produced that Rogue One video where they took the footage of me being an X-Wing pilot at Star Wars Celebration. You put me in Rogue One, and I love it. I'm so thankful for that. So
Also,
thank you for everything you do, Chris.
Chris is great. Also, I'm every day. I'm just the luckiest guy in the world to work at this incredible place, Playhouse Square in Cleveland, and very, very humbling for me, and to actually bring my worlds together of what I do in my day job and also with this crazy podcast. It's just awesome. So thank you to Stefan over there, Jody, our house manager Adrienne tonight, April the bartender. Hey, April told us.
April has a bank call.
April has never seen a Star Wars movie. I think it's time for her to start. Never. Yeah. But we've got some giveaways. So let's do some giveaways. We've got so everybody grab your raffle tickets, and we're going to start off with the Blue Harvest inspired T-shirt from Rancho Obi-Wan. And has anybody here been to Rancho Obi-Wan, by the way?
Oh my God! We have a whole room full of people who've never been to Rancho.
You think Galaxy's Edge is cool? You got to go to Rancho Obi-Wan.
Oh my God! You have to go.
Go on in August.
Trip,
All right.
Go visit Steve Sansweet, our
right.
friends Ann Newman, Bob, Stu out there. Rancho.
All right, so we're gonna mix these guys up.
RanchoObi1.org. Who's gonna win this T-shirt?
All right, so grab your raffle tickets.
All right, we'll let
got the
Billy
T-shirt.
Mack.
Billy Mack's gonna do the honors here. So go ahead and
call out just the last three numbers.
Last three, okay. 914.
914.
914. Do we have a 914?
Who here it's
you won.
Raise your hand if you got 914.
Or yell. Does somebody have it? You got a 914?
Is that mocked?
What? Oh, it's not Chris Mock. No, wait, Chris. Now you got a comp ticket. You already won your prize. You got a comp ticket.
All right, we're gonna draw another one.
You're not taking that T-shirt. No. I love you, Chris, but no. All right, last three numbers. He already got a prize. He got a comp ticket.
All right, ready?
You got to do this for free.
904.
904.
904. Isn't that Puppet Lando's hotel room number? He's invited everyone to join him after the show.
No, there's no 904.
904 going
Let's
once.
draw another one.
904.
Here. We'll let Billy pick it again. 904 going once, going twice. All right, here's the next one.
That one's gone. 885.
885. 885. Who wants this T-shirt? 885. What's the winner of this T-shirt? Are you sure that these numbers?
We'll be here all night, folks.
We might have to give it to Mock.
All right, this is the last one. I'm going to pick it because Billy's not doing a good job. But I'll let him read it. He's my little brother. I bust on him all the time.
810.
This is the winner. Who's got it?
Yeah!
There we go. All the way in the back. There you go. You have won a Rancho Obi-Wan T-shirt.
There we go.
You're
very welcome.
So good to
Hi
meet
there.
you. What's your name?
Christine.
Christine won the T-shirt. Christine is going to be looking awesome. All right, we have Mandalorian Prince from.
Oh, these are beautiful. Look at these things. Hold that up.
I love this.
So this is as if the classic Marvel comic series would have covered the Mandalorian. Look at that, it's so cool.
It's got the right numbers.
Artwork by Wayne Barnes.
Is it silkscreen? It's great quality.
All right, so I don't listen to Billy Mack. He's like, oh,
Silkscreen?
Silkscreen. Be quiet.
It feels really good.
It's ink on some sort of paper. That's all we know.
All right, and this lovely poster is going to 873.
873.
Claim your prize.
873.
Right here, we got
873. All right.
873. Fabulous. Frame that. What's your name?
Deborah.
Deborah?
Thank you, Deborah.
Deborah, how much do you love Baby Yoda, Deborah?
Very, very much.
Well,
All
too bad
right.
you didn't win this one. Because we got Baby Yoda here. We got a print of Baby Yoda. I want this one, quite honestly. What's the number, Billy Mack?
923.
923.
923.
No one?
This is high
What?
quality.
923.
No. All right, let's draw another.
Pick another one, Billy.
Do it, Billy. Don't be a hero.
Hey, did I tell you that? Okay.
No.
892. Oh yeah.
We got someone from the Patreon section. What's your name? We talked to you before. Adam, good to see you, Adam. Congratulations.
I can't rest over the Christmas break until we find out what happened to Baby.
Yeah, no, we're all very
I know,
concerned about
Baby
Baby
Yoda's-
Yoda. I've been consumed with concern. I did not sleep at all for the last 3 days.
One more
Your friends
print
with a
here.
fistful of Beskar. Okay, the Mandalorian himself featured in this fine art print by Wayne Barnes. Billy Mack.
804.
804.
804.
804. TK 804.
Oh, we got one back
Get to your
there.
post.
804, right here.
Here you go, my
Here it comes. All right.
Here you go, buddy. What's your name? Pete. Congratulations, Pete.
Thanks,
Thank
buddy.
you so much for joining us. All right, we're down to the biggin. We got this pair of Bose wire